a lot of C of A votes is good.
Maybe we can just pool them together.
No.
You already said you have to go to one at a time.
You're my eyes to see me.
Probably. Where that's not.
What you could do is share this desktop always and just be moving things in.
Right, so move it from here.
Yeah.
While I'm watching,
And then, so when you see that it's.
Yeah, so if you want to do that. You're just sharing this.
Oh, I see what you're saying, so go ahead and, so stop sharing.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll go back to New Mexico.
and then if you share screen and then just do desktop two. Desktop two, then whatever is up
You know what
here,
the secret is?
people will also see it.
I see, okay.
So you don't have to keep on bouncing back and forth.
So, oh, so do I wanna open this first.
We're ready for 10 o'clock.
There's no
Are they gonna see
applicant.
this?
You can get to that
We're
screen.
having a public hearing.
Huh?
We're having a public hearing.
And there's supposed to be a public hearing now.
Roll Phil.
Oh, we got it from Michael, the HFD guest, which is pretty recent.
We got
I don't
another.
remember.
Oh,
Lenses, we don't fly.
Yeah, and the house. We don't need it.
It's a bear living away.
no,
Yeah, 1 second.
Go to Michael and fix it.
I just found that out now. I was told to go to the front desk at City Hall and
He's sitting right here in front desk at City Hall.
That is the front end.
Engine 279, all lowercase.
they.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
We don't like it. You guys know?
These are.
They're on the train somewhere, but what the hell?
That's all you said. Yes, you did. They're sure.
It's on. You're right. And so sunrise is over.
What did you set when you passed?
Come on, Bill.
You want to call the name go?
No, that's what he said.
We don't need an audience, so I said it in hold on. I think everybody's online.
We don't need them.
We're the
Sure.
only ones who have it.
Are we, is anybody online?
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
Victoria's.
I'm here. Hello.
It is here in 10:02. And as we have. First, this is public hearing. And issue your statement of comment for page that goes at 317 Allen Street. Or Monday, today's meeting. The date will be set by HDC. See that applications are submitted to review. Regular HDC hearing. Here to speak for 317 Allen Street. Lisa Davis. Is there a voice?
Hi. Sorry, the sound was cutting out. I might have missed something.
Welcome back. So the public hearing is the first item. And what happens is you take everybody through the plans just as if you were presenting. Exactly as if you were presenting, and then we hear
Okay.
public, the commission does not comment during public comment, we just try to listen to and hear what other folks have to say, so, please go ahead and present your plans.
Should I share my screen or can I control the?
If you'd like to share your screen, Esther, I can stop sharing and go ahead.
What's easiest
Okay.
for you? We're happy to do it too.
I think if I share my screen, I can flip back and forth more easily.
So we'll pull back and you go ahead.
Right. So my name is Esther Cho. I am with Garen Glass Architects, and I am here today to present 317 Allen Street on behalf of the owners. This project is going to be an exterior, mostly restoration with an interior renovation. And what we're proposing today is some new masonry openings towards the rear facade and in the kitchen along the east facade, and a restoration of the remaining facades. So on the
Yes.
first sheet, we have,
Sorry, for what it's worth, you don't need to cover in this meeting with this commission anything on the interior unless you want to, in terms of how it impacts on what your exterior plans are.
Okay.
We're all about the outside.
okay. So we have some historic photos. We believe this bottom right photo is the oldest, early 20th century. You can see the windows, the original windows were a dark color, which, is something we're proposing to go with a darker color. And we have a later photo here, and we believe it's later because you can see the double hung storm windows that have been applied to the front. And then we have just the current day photos to the side. We have another early 20th century photo taken from the corner, the front yard and the east elevation. You can see a current day photo here to the left, and a current day photo taken from an angle looking at the rear facade and the east elevation from Willard Place. We also have the original plan of the first floor here, and we referred to this to see which windows were original. You can tell from the plans like what the interior layout was and how it informed some of the window locations. We'll get to in the elevations. And so we've submitted the existing and proposed plans because we do want to walk through some of the interior changes that are affecting the exterior. So our kitchen, this is where the existing kitchen is, and what we're proposing is to create a double height space with large windows along the east facade, a large window at the rear, and a new set of double doors opening onto the rear porch. At the sunroom, these sunroom windows are not original. This was an open air covered porch when it was originally built, and we are proposing to replace the existing wood slider windows with new metal or a steel look aluminum double door, each of these openings. At the second floor, where we're proposing a new master bathroom, we'd like to have a curved bay window overlooking what was a second floor porch, but we will be removing the current picket rail and making it a non-occupied roof and installing a new skylight over the sunroom, as well as a new skylight over the kitchen, neither of which are visible from the photos we took on Willard Place. Okay, here is the existing elevation. We provided some photos to the left to show some of the existing brick conditions. You can see the original covered porch roof here was removed some time ago, and there's a lot of inconsistency with the brick. You can see on this front facade image, there's a inconsistency with the grout color and just the overall weathering of the brick pattern. And we have a photo here on the rear facade where you can see, looks to be just, grout on the brick. So one of the things we'd like to propose is a lime wash for the entire building. When we first met, I had mentioned that it was an aesthetic choice, but it actually does serve to blend the different patched areas of the building together, and we'd like it to have a more even finish. You can see here, we're proposing a green paint. These are various shades of green from the Benjamin Moore Historic Collection, and we selected paint colors from the early 20th century, similar to when this house was completed. We have a reference photo of what we'd like the lime wash to look like. It's very, very minimal. It would be applied and quickly removed. We don't really want to have a white looking building. So on the following page, we found some local references of varying degrees of lime wash, and some may just be old paint, but along the top, we have the most adjacent projects. This is next door on Allen Street, and this is across from our project, also on Allen Street. Zoom in a bit. And then we have a few more examples in the Union, Allen, South Front Street Historic District. And again, these are all just varying degrees of the look we're trying to achieve. I think these white examples are not representations of how we'd like it to look, but we did find all these examples of like a weathered, somewhat consistent looking weathered brick. And then some examples along the Warren Street Historic District at the bottom. Okay, for the east elevation, the house as a whole has a mix of 9/1, 12/1, and 6/1 windows. Along the east facade, we sort of have the most variety here. You can see there's one window that's just a 1/1. There's also an existing side door. The door is no longer original to the house, but the porch that it used to serve has been removed. And you can see here that infill. Also, these two kitchen windows have been modified. They are original but modified. And this window here is sort of a outlier in that it's an 8/1, but these three windows we are proposing to change. Go to our proposed elevation. What we've done is we've rendered the areas where we're proposing new windows. You can see the brick wash color, the green windows. We're proposing a new wood window to match the existing immediately adjacent, and we're proposing some tall double height windows in our new double height kitchen space. Going around to the rear elevation, we just have some more examples of the inconsistent brick weathering on the facade. And we have another double height window in the kitchen. We're going to replace the non-original kitchen door. We're going to infill where this existing window was on the second floor. And we're also proposing to hold the existing brick returns or the jambs of the current openings and demolish the masonry in between for a new curved bay window that we looked at the master bathroom. You can also see these are the new steel or aluminum and glass double doors we're proposing for the sunroom. And these will wrap around the sunroom. On the west elevation, the window pattern is much more consistent. We're not proposing to replace any of these. In fact, all of the original windows we are restoring. as well as providing new wood storm windows. So this facade is mostly the same, but we did render this portion so you can see the side of that bay window, a wood planter that sits just outside. See the new double doors at the sunroom. We did elevate the skylights, which are not visible. We did a little mock-up. We used this sort of fluorescent flag. We put the skylight, top of the skylight out on the patio, which was not visible from Willard Place. And sketched over with the form of the curved bay window. And you can see on this elevation beyond, actually I'll just go to the following sheet. We are proposing to expand this existing window with a new fixed glass window. And this is also over the kitchen. We are also going to be replacing this non-original door with a new masonry opening with a set of double doors. And this is our last page, just showing some of the existing window conditions and the profiles that we're proposing. We are replacing all of the cellar windows, which are a mix of casements, double hung, and sliders, and we're going to be replacing them with aluminum clad wood windows. This is the Colby & Colby Ultra Series pictured here. For the window that we're going to be replacing, where there was originally a door, a side door, we're going to be using the Colby & Colby Heritage Series, which is an all wood window with 5/8 inch beveled buntons with divided lights, performance divided lights. And for the sunroom and the larger kitchen windows, we are proposing a Rainier's aluminum system, which we've selected for a high thermal performance. The owner is very eager to have this building or this renovation be as sustainable as possible, and that will include the building envelope. So we've selected an aluminum profile, similar to like a hot rolled or cold rolled steel profile. This is beveled and it has narrow sight lines. Here's the window profile. And then here would be the door profile for where we are proposing new storm doors. The sliver of existing rear patio door, like these will get all new storm doors. Also up here, we have a photo of the existing brick molds. Some of these we are proposing to repair or replace in kind, but we would be maintaining the profile with the beading currently out there today. And that's the end of the presentation, I guess.
Okay, anything else you want to add at either in detail or at a high level in terms of the concept you're pursuing? It sounds like there's a lot of changes of various kinds that have been made to the building over the years with non-original material. Some of the original material remains, which you're trying to preserve, but what's your concept overall?
Concept overall is to maintain as much of the original material as possible, except for the windows around the kitchen, where we are going to be making that a double height space, and to replace what's not original with an update for thermal windows, like in the sunroom, and some of the existing storm doors that are not original we would be replacing with these much thinner sight lines. So the replacement would not be as, it would not obscure the original material behind the storm doors as much as the current ones do. We are also, this is not something that's in the presentation, but some of the things we are considering, because we are very early on in the phase, replacing the wood fence with a wrought iron fence, which I believe was originally planned for the fence, but was never built. That's something we'll be doing, and we're also considering replacing the asphalt paving with a more permeable material because it is more favorable for like sustainability.
Thank you very much. Jen, are you gonna bring people in as we see them come up?
Yeah, we have. Oh, okay, Carol? Carol Ostring, said something's wrong with her audio.
Okay,
Carol? Ronald? Ronald, could you, unmute yourself? I see you have your hand raised.
Am I not? Yes, I've unmuted. Nat would like to speak.
Okay,
Yes, I'm mostly concerned about the bay window that's being installed over the sunroom. That would be highly visible on Willard Place. I think it's a huge departure from the original intent of the building. It will be completely out of character. I believe that the existing condition should be maintained. It is part of the original design. This is a very significant building. The patio doors have transoms above them. And to my understanding, the stained glass windows that were installed there were given to the Metropolitan Museum and are on display there. So, you know, this back facade counts for quite a bit, and it should be maintained. I'm less concerned about some of the other alterations because they're less visible, but that's due to the fencing. If you change the fencing, they will become very visible too. And they, again, are totally out of character with the original intent of the building. It's to have an appearance of a Dutch house from the late 18th, 17th century. And I think that this is, you know, it's what the building is about. And I think disrupting its original intention and appearance to this degree is not useful for preservation of this property and its original condition. Where it exists should be maintained. I have no problem with redoing the sunroom, and it sounds like the storm doors you're proposing for the patio doors would be an improvement, because I did look, and the patio doors there, the storm doors obscure them somewhat. They're very delicate and they're original, and they would have complemented the stained glass that was removed. I'm not sure the exact degree of how much you're going to wash over the brick. It seems like it's probably okay, but it seems, I think there should be real examples as opposed to scattered photographs of varying ways this has been done. As to the restoration, it's, you know, I think it's great that you would maintain the existing windows that are original and paint them in an appropriate way. Thank you.
thank you. Who's up next? Is there any other public comment? Is Carol's trying to dial in, and put her on a cell phone, or?
Carol?
Yes, I am trying to raise my hand. I have to agree with Matt. That curved bay window is totally inappropriate to this building. And I'm really, I see that the presentation now includes the photographs that were taken of the building just a couple of years after it was built and were featured in a publication called The Brick Builder. And it seems so wrong to me that a building that is so well documented and whose design was so celebrated, and the original plans for this building are preserved in the Albany Institute of History and Art, that it just can't be restored as it was originally intended to be, instead of having people impose their own personal wants for a bay window in their bedroom on something so historic and significant. So I think I agree with everything that Matt said, and find that window most egregious.
Is there, I'm not hearing anything.
Yes, we can hear you, Esther.
We didn't hear anything
Okay.
after Carol spoke.
Esther, did you want to respond to anything in the public hearing, or we're not going to vote on anything. We can talk at the end of the meeting or offline about moving forward to next level of specification, so that we have detailed schedule of all the bits and more detailed description. But did you want to take some time to comment on anything that was said?
Yes, there was a comment on the stained glass transoms, and I do want to point out that we are preserving all of the stained glass and merely just replacing the storm windows that are currently protecting them.
Okay.
For the bay window, we can come up potentially come up with some alternatives with the client, but we are trying to respect the existing opening, but just making the opening larger. So we can continue to study that.
Terrific, thank you. So great. Go back to regular order of business. You made a motion to approve minutes.
Yes.
Did we have a second? Jeremy, all in favor? Aye. Done. Next order of business are certificate of appropriateness votes. And there are quite a few. Victoria, do you want to, would you be able to share your screen and show us some of these Cs of A?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or Jen can do?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jan's hooked into the,
Terrific, thank you.
yes.
Okay. So first up is 442. Okay,
Were we 442 Warren Street assigned?
yes,
If there are no questions or comments, motion to approve the CVAs prepared by the city attorney. And a second by Miranda, all in favor? That's approved. If anyone's out there on all of these, they get stamped, signed, and I send them back to code enforcement, so the stamped and signed Cs of A should be available to everybody on Monday. 548, 550 Warren Street offense.
yes, it's the wooden fence topped with lattice in the rear courtyard and along the front.
Motion to approve the C of A for 548, 550. Miranda, and you second, all in favor? It's approved. 426 East Allen Street offense.
Yeah, that was the replace the wooden stockade fence along the rear and installing the picket fence along the front.
Motion,
Yes.
Kim, and the second, Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Fence is approved. 107 Union Street, a railing.
Yes. I believe this was it was the metal railing to replace the wooden planters on Partition Street above their garage.
Okay.
On the motion, anyone? You, and a second, please. Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Railing is approved.
Okay, and this is 60 South Front Street, which are the solar panels on top of the red bar caboose building or whatever it's called.
Got it. Jeremy,
Victoria, are you seeing all these?
We can see them. Thank you.
Okay, good, thank you.
They're coming up.
Great, thank you.
all right, solar roof, 60 South Front Street. Miranda and Hugh, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? No, approved. 502 Union Street, rooftop safety railing.
This is the Spark of Hudson building. They had prior approval to do the fence and they're moving it to the outer perimeter, the railing for safety.
Right. Kim, thank you. Hugh and Miranda both seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. 354 Allen Street. The applicant wrote, by the way, they're not in the room or online today, but not an issue. We can go forward.
Right, so this was the C of A that was, we pulled it apart. It was for demo only of the church.
That's correct. Motion, please. Anybody? Jeremy, and a second, you, all in favor?
Aye.
721 Columbia Street, new storefront.
Oh, yeah, that's. Okay.
Yes, Kim and Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Passed. 207 Allen Street restoration.
Right, this is not ready to, this was not a C of A. This was, really concept only. These are the guys who are redoing the whole rear of the house, the townhome, next to Jane Tromley's house.
They had to come back with more specs and details on the structural plans.
Right,
All right, so we're gonna pass
yeah,
and move that on to the next meeting until the application is complete.
correct.
548 State Street, new addition.
Yes, this is the screened-in sun porch that will be enlarged east to the east.
Perfect. Anyone? Jeremy and Kim, all in favor? Are there any opposed? Approved. One of these I screwed up we'll keep on going. 735, 737 Columbia Street.
This is TJ Autos, which will become the new Little Devs. They presented part 2 of their application, which was more specificity about fence and what's visible and the planes and the addition.
Sure. Motion, please. Miranda and you, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Are there any other Cs of A?
102 Union.
That's an
There-
application.
There's one more. It wasn't on the agenda, but I sent it in the email from Bruce Jaffe.
We missed it?
Yep.
All right.
Do you have it, Jan? Yeah, that's it. 326 Union.
Yeah, that back in the, agenda.
This is the removal of the addition and then a rebuild, demo and rebuild of the Cherry Alley facing garage. That's a 2-story now.
Understood. Okay, Hugh, is making a motion. Yes. And the second, anyone? Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so 326 Union is approved. I don't know if I have that,
Send it to you.
yeah, I need that C of A. Unless Victoria sent it out already
I'll
to,
send you the package and the document.
done deal. All right, then I can stamp and sign and get that to Craig for Monday. That I think covers C of A votes, and we have a new application.
Yes.
We don't typically take new apps for this meeting, but it was our mistake that these folks weren't in a prior meeting, so new application is from 102 Union Street.
Yeah.
Who's here to speak for 102?
Is there anyone here for 102?
Give him a minute. So Craig had gotten in touch with me yesterday or day before, whatever, and asked me to put this on because we passed, so I'd hope to get these folks through the process. Craig, have you heard from these guys?
Yeah, he came in, I think it was last Friday, asked about it, and that was when we realized that it was lost in the shuffle.
Sure.
I explained to him that I would ask if it could be reviewed today, and told him that he or the owner will have to be on the meeting. So maybe, I don't know, something could have came up and they couldn't make it, or maybe they misunderstood. So
Okay.
they're not here. I guess we'll see them on May 12th.
We'll move into the next meeting. That's no problem. Thanks for catching it, Craig.
Thank you.
All right, a question for the commission. I'm wondering how to proceed on the, well, I'm not wondering, just a thought. Not wondering. On 317 Allen, my thought, last night was to give the applicant a chance to, absorb the comments from the public. We don't have a complete app. They're entitled to take some time on this and think it through, unless you all feel very differently and wanna comment on the comments. The goal is not to be bureaucratic, it's to give these guys a chance to think it through. But if we have input that could be helpful to them moving forward on this, then we should share it. Any thoughts or comments on the stuff from the public that you think would be helpful to these guys?
Well, I would agree with the 2 public comments that were made regarding the bay window. That is something I would not agree to.
Okay, because it's not in the vocabulary of the style of the building, in your feeling?
Yep.
Okay.
I agree. I had the same feeling when it first came up. It just felt incongruous to me and didn't feel like it belonged on that building.
Yeah.
And it is highly visible from Weller Place, which is also kind of a special.
Kind of that kind of place, yes.
Generally speaking, I could see changing certain things, but as Carol pointed out, this is a very well documented building on a lot of levels from Albany, onward. It's certain things like the skylights I could probably live with, but making a big visual change, while there are other
On the exterior envelope of the building.
yeah, with the bay window, while there are other, possible versions that might work better, I would tend to say that they architects might want to explore that early on to give other versions.
Yeah, I think that's 100% right. There's other strategies or approaches that I think would be more amenable.
Right.
Yeah, and you can still achieve the transparency and light that you want.
Kim, would you be open to conversation with the applicant offline?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so,
I also want to better understand those
Yeah.
double or triple height windows that they do.
The kitchen.
In the kitchen.
This
is my first time seeing it. but
Yes,
that's
no,
something
I know.
That
Yeah,
sort of stuck out to me as well.
I don't think we've seen any specific specs or anything further on that other than just the elevation.
have not, that the applicant had said this was concept and,
Yeah. exactly.
they were seeking,
And I have to better understand, are they going to,
say a ladder wall.
are they going to purge or do something to the brick on the outside? I didn't quite
A
understand.
wash, it was washed. And there's a world of variability in that. One of the public suggested that we get a little more specific because a wash can be anything from completely opaque
Yeah.
to semi-transparent to quite transparent. And all that is defines what it's gonna look like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would like to suggest for the kitchen window, it would be helpful to see some photographs to show how visible those windows would be from the street, because I think that's a major consideration in whether we could approve them or not.
That's great. I think my comment overall is I know this building pretty well. Back in the day when Deanie and Wendell were living there. I went to at least a couple of events or dinners or whatever. My first thought is I'm really delighted that someone's taking this on. And with the intent of making it wonderful, and I hope that our input is not discouraging, but encouraging. That this kind of restoration is enormously appreciated. It's gonna be a great thing, and this is just part of the process of preserving as much as we can of our architectural history. Not meant to be negative at all. So, thank you to the applicant and to the owner. If there are no other, comments, thoughts, or objection, I think we completed the agenda for today. Did someone have their hand up?
No.
Maybe a motion for adjournment. A second, please. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.